Welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Toya Singh, and today's episode is about an issue that's very, very close to all of our hearts: the safety, the security of each and every woman in our country. In honor of International Women's Day, this is the Sheshakti Suraksha Survey. 8,000 women across 20 cities in 20 states. They were asked detailed questions about their everyday experiences. All of the research we're going to be showing you today was conducted by PValue Analytics. They sat down to discuss with women in 10 languages over the course of 98 questions. The average time of each call was 20 minutes, how they felt about the state of safety in India today. Now, to shine a spotlight on all of this research, we're going to be joined by Dr. Kanupriya. She's from the PValue Analytics team. And in just a few minutes, to bring us deeper, more incisive insight into these numbers, we will have a guest joining us too. And we'll share with you who that very special guest is in just a second. But first, let's bring up all of the numbers just to dive straight in to the broader picture. Question number one, and this is perhaps the foundational question to the rest of our research. How safe do you feel in your city? Take a look at those numbers on the screen in front of you. 82% of women saying that they feel safe. So, painting a very, very positive picture seemingly. 6% of women saying they feel unsafe, and a neutral is at 12%. But again, I want to draw your attention to that 12%. Let's take you now to the next set of numbers. We're going to go through a few sets of numbers and then we'll go over to the experts for their comments. So, question number two. How safe do you feel in your city during the day? Here, interestingly, we want to point out that number, 82%, consistent with the previous data set. Now, when it comes to moderately safe, 14% of women said that in the daytime we feel moderately safe, and at unsafe there were 4%. Again, this number, safe at 82%, same as the earlier number. But let's go on to the next set of data. The picture gets a little more complex here. How safe do you feel in your city during the nighttime? How safe do women across 20 states, 20 cities in 20 states, feel during the nighttime? This is where that number drops. We were earlier in the 80s, but that number plummets to 48%. 48% of women feel safe in the nighttime in their cities. 29% feel moderately safe, and a whole 23% feel unsafe. That's almost 1 in every 4 have said that they feel unsafe. Now, before we go over to the experts, we have one more interesting piece of information, piece of data that we wanted to shine a light on. We also asked everyone gathered what they thought the safest cities were. So each person had to answer how safe they felt their city was. What are the cities that did the best? The 3 cities that did the best in rankings, and this is not in order of how safe they were or how safely they were ranked by women. You have Ahmedabad, Indore, and Mumbai. Again, not in order. These cities are ranked, as we're telling you, in alphabetic order: Ahmedabad, Indore, and Mumbai. These are the cities that consistently, when women were asked, how safe do you feel in your city, these are the cities that got the best scores. Now, we told you a little earlier that we have an expert from PValue Analytics with us this morning to help us analyze the numbers. Dr. Kanupriya is with us to shine a light on these numbers. Let's go over to her to understand a little bit more. Dr. Kanupriya, if we could first just bring up that first data set with you. We'll get into the other numbers in just a second. But more than 80% of women saying that they do feel safe in their cities. That's a surprising number. Were you surprised by how positive the response was when you were conducting this survey? I just want to also tell our audiences, each of these surveys was conducted by a woman, so it was women talking to other women. Dr. Kanupriya, floor over to you. How did you feel when you saw these numbers?
Okay. So Toya, basically these findings just establish a baseline understanding that women who've been a part of the survey in general do not feel or do not live in a space of fear or anxiety constantly. However, when I say this, when we look at the data, since it's a general perception, it will vary considerably when it is looked at from different contextual lenses like the domains, the demographics, and the cities. Also, if you look at the second number which is there, neutral and unsafe, it again puts up a picture that there is a number which is also reporting that they feel unsafe, and there is also a number which is reporting that they feel moderately safe in their surroundings. Again, this is no outright concern to their safety or security, but still that means there are certain apprehensions amongst this group. Coming to the point that you just told the viewers, yes, the survey was actually a very robust sample size of 8,000 respondents, 8,000 women across 20 cities who, yes, you also rightly mentioned that the survey was designed by women, the survey was conducted by women telecallers, the survey was answered by women across socio-economic groups, and also the survey was analyzed by women. This was done using a structured questionnaire approach with 90 plus questions, which again tells us that there was an in-depth of questions that were covered across various domains like neighborhood safety, workplace safety, education institution safety, transport safety, and the likes.
Okay, Dr. Kanupriya, you've explained now the methodology, the manner in which this was conducted, and you've told us how you feel about those initial numbers. I want to ask you then, that dip that we're seeing in the night time take place, and it's quite a dip. It's almost by half, 48%, from 80 to 48%. How did you read that?
So yes, that dip which you see, the nighttime dip, is a very significant dip. The perception significantly drops after sunset, which again, you know, brings us to the point that definitely there is something that maybe at an overall level needs to be pondered, that what needs to be done to improve the safety perception of women at an overall level, especially during the night times.
Okay, so 8,000 women, I just want to repeat for our audiences, 8,000 women in 20 states across 20 cities. Very quickly, we'll ask you before we move on to the next set of numbers, just explain to our audiences those 20 cities, how were they selected across the country?
So for those 20 cities, we determined a sample of 400 respondents for each of these cities. Now, these 400 respondents were statistically significant at 95% confidence, and that's how we have confidence in our data findings that we bring to you.
Okay. All right.